What is up, bros? Me, Josh. In today's video, we're going over another Break It Down, my series where I go into depth on kind of what I'm thinking while I'm playing or while I was playing certain ships and kind of break it down, kind of give you guys an idea of what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and the reason for that, and blah, blah, blah. And today is the Des Moines. So this is a ship I like. I haven't liked really the ship in the past. I tend to go, and I always kind of talk about it with how tier 10 ships are, is there's ships that I would kind of organize as open water ships and not open water ships. I don't really have a name for them, but the ships I would consider like open water ships, like the Henry, the Zao, the Hindenburg, ships that are really good at kind of just floating around wherever they want. I guess you can kind of put the Moskva in there a little bit, but you have to be a little careful, but it tends to do pretty well when it's up kind of against an island. But stuff like the Des Moines, the Minnow, these kind of ships are kind of better when they're used to cutter. They're kind of played wrong if you are consistently shooting in the open because of their high walls. They're very easy to citadel, although they can tank if angled properly. Well, I guess the Minotaur and stuff can't. But the Des Moines needs to be played a certain way to be very successful in the long run. This is kind of a whole workup to the upcoming USN Split, which has been talked about for a while, and it's been, I guess, basically announced. Everything's kind of getting moved around. The Baltimore to Tier 8, the New Orleans to Tier 7, Pensacola to Tier 6, Cleveland up to Tier 8, the Buffalo we've seen before. More of those videos to come, too, on all those kind of relaunches, or not the relaunches, but the reviews, the previews that I have the ability to play. I've been playing a little bit on stream, and they're going to break into kind of a light cruiser and a heavy cruiser, where the 203s are going to be on one line, and then we're going to see a little bit more style of Atlanta, smaller caliber Cleveland on another line. We've seen splits on the Russian destroyer line as well as the IGN destroyer line. But this slide is going to play very similar throughout the entire line, and it's always good when a Grows White backs up and takes a nice little hit. The only reason I shot right here is, one, I had an island, and two, we might as well throw it up. It's really tough if you ever played any USN cruisers. Although they are extremely good relatively close range, their long range is pretty mediocre because they have such a high hang time, and they're best in cover. So anything I would say outside of 12 kilometers, you're going to be pretty inconsistent on hitting them. If something's going in a straight line, you probably can. You know, you get to that 13, 14, you can still hit stuff all right, but it's just not going to be as consistent because you're going to get a 9, 8, 9, 10-second hang time when you get to those longer ranges, because it's going to be really hard. So, but this is kind of just an overview of not only just breaking down what the Des Moines play, but really the upcoming plays, because if you play the Cleveland the same way, if you play all these upcoming ships, they're all going to play the same way, and I would kind of label this line as almost a little campy, and to be extremely successful. If I was just kind of rolling into B-cap, and you're just gonna get citadel off the planet, but if played really correctly and kind of this almost campy playstyle that a lot of people actually won't enjoy playing, but a lot of these are going to play very similar. I had a video the other day of me playing the New Orleans, and had a really good game, because if you post up against islands and use cover and use your rate of fire and all this kind of stuff, you can be very successful. So right here, I'm post up against this island. As you can see, I'm a little more angled than I want to be, and I thought this island was going to blast me off the planet, but luckily he shot HE, so we were fine. But a lot of the time when you're playing the Des Moines, unless you are really set up in a certain situation, you aren't going to get to use all your turrets. Most of your damage is going to come from the front two turrets, as you would if you were in a mosque or anything like that. And one thing is with these USN cruisers is to embrace the AP. You are not an HE only ship. You can use AP and absolutely shred for damage. Definitely does suck though when you hit all the turrets and take no damage, or do no damage, but you can start ripping those salvos with B45, 8K on certain ships. There's a 6600, and especially when a cruiser gets a little aggressive, you can punish him a little bit with the rate of fire, because the rate of fire of the Des Moines is absolutely insane. I would put the rate of fire, or the DPS of the DM, the highest out of any tier 10 cruiser. I mean, not the DP, I guess pure DPS math wise, not really, but the deadliest ship from about 6.1 kilometers out to about 12. Outside of that, you probably have the Hindenburg that's going to be taking the deadliest ship, and within that you probably have the Hindenburg again. And the reason is the Des Moines just loses that arc when you get a little bit farther away. But as you're pushing in between that 6 kilometer to 12 kilometer range, you're going to be doing just so much damage, so much rate of fire. It's pretty nuts. Your alpha damage is insane. And then the Hindenburg, of course, takes it again with its really good torp angles, as well as it's double set of torps, so it's really tough to bring. You can say the Zao as well, because it's 8 kilometer torps, but you have to give up its complete broadside to get those off, unlike the Hindenburg, where you can kind of just, you know, just go in and be a boss and not really give up much of an angle. You'll go up a little bit, but not as bad as you would with the Zao. But one, knowing your HE and AP are both massive with this line, and to use them both effectively. Now with the 203s, you don't really need inertia fuse, but I am going to try to work in a new video with the new captain builds that I think are going to work the best. We're going to wait a little bit, but I think this line is going to work really well with inertia fuse, AFT, and concealment expert, if you can work that in. So this is a line that's going to, I think, excel really well with a very high level captain. If it does split, 203s though aren't needed, and you can just roll like an AFT concealment expert captain and roll the rest of it with anything else you want to roll with for any kind of captain. But on this map though, the DM is going to work best around A and B cap. So if we extend this map really quick, things you're looking for is cover. So cover, this island is massive. This island's pretty good too, if you get certain cross shots. These islands are always great too, because you can leapfrog from island to island to island and really start putting in a lot of pressure. One thing is, if their entire red team, this is very, very effective if their team YOLOs completely to one side, or they are pushed off into the C cap. So if the enemy team is pushed off into one side, either the A cap or the C cap, and they're all kind of there. See, their team's kind of spread out, kind of like ours is a little bit, but we push C cap a little bit harder than A cap. We can really start working that. And this is the AP, the strength of the AP on broadside, and this is a little cheeky shot right here. I was actually pretty happy. So we waited, threw a salvo in there right between the little island, and we actually snagged another citadel. So that was pretty funny actually. But the main areas you're going to go at the start of this map with the Des Moines and any of these cruisers really are going to be the islands here or the islands here, kind of whatever you spawn on, and depending on what your division is. Ours was a Yamato, a Des Moines, and a Z, so we're both pretty effective with radar and hydro on any kind of cap we go to, but C cap is really, really good, and it gives you a nice place to kind of work out of. But later game, if you do get these kind of angles where you can kind of work in, if a whole team is pushed this way, you can basically lock down an entire area right here, shoot it in, but you want to kind of get almost a north-south or a really good angle where you can block it. See, like right here is really good because you can angle towards A cap without showing any broadside and using that little lip right there. There's another lip right here that you can use, another lip right here you can use. There's a lot of those. You don't really want to be in the middle of the map, but you can do a lot of damage by posting up there, and then they have to come into you. And if you've ever played against a DM, moving into a Des Moines is absolutely nasty because of their rate of fire and just how much damage those 203s can do. So again, though, we're still kind of just posted up and waiting for something to happen, waiting to see what this Baltimore does, if he gives me good broadside. But I'm not going to overextend right now. The one thing I'm doing is I'm looking where ships are. We have the gearing in the middle, which we're going to work on. We have radar up. We have the Baltimore right here. We have a cruiser right here, as well as a battleship. And we're watching where this enemy pushes. So what we're going to do is we're going to hug this island right here, and that's going to protect our entire side as we can just work forward. As I said earlier, the majority of your damage in these ships, you know, unless you can find a really god tier island where you can get all of them without shooting spotted, you're not going to spend much of your time shooting in the open. What you're going to end up doing is you're going to find an island like I have right here, protect yourself, and do most of the damage, if not all your damage, with your front two guns. And we're going to watch a Kyrian right here, sit in smoke, get radared, not move, and no hair, don't care. Down he goes. But again, so as you see right here, we didn't even know where that Amagi was, and if we would have pushed out right into the middle, we would get absolutely obliterated by these guys. And both the New Orleans and the Baltimore have tier 203s, so they will just shred me up if I show them a broadside. So I can't give a Hindenburg a broadside, I can't give any of these things broadside. So again, we're just going to set up and start working this guy in the middle. Hindenburgs, if you guys don't know, are really hard to citadel up close with the turboback armor, but if you are outside about 12 kilometers, it seems like 12 kilometers seems to be the miracle range. You can citadel the ever-living shit out of him with AP. He turns in just a little bit, so we're not going to get him. But really working in AP when you can, because you will just you'll drop those ships. So 12 kilometers to me seems to be about that magical range. And even though I'm on fire right now, I'm not repairing it. I'm just gonna let it burn out. That's one thing you learn a lot if you played clan battles, is one fire isn't the worst thing in the world. So you can just kind of keep working in and let that burn out. You can heal most of that back. I don't have a very good survivability captain on this like I would my Hindenburg for clan battles, but as you can see, I'm switching AP right here, and we can really start tearing this up. Even a couple salvos AP could potentially kill him. So shot is in. We're gonna aim just like we normally would with AP, and really try to get some salvos in. So he's outside that 12 kilometers, and boom, there's a double citadel. So it just seems like Hindenburgs that if you're outside that 12, you can get that plunging fire. Des Moines 2 with a bit of an arc can do a lot of work and really get an extra little bit of damage there. And then once, you know, he's not giving you an angle at all, you can switch. I mean, see, like his DPS is insane, even though he's only using a couple turrets against me. But we did get that good salvo of like 12k on him or whatever it was with that broadside, so we punish him for that. And again, we're just gonna keep tanking and keep working him down, because once he's dead, then we don't really have anything else to worry about, because we have such a good spot right here. So this line, just like the video I did on the Baltimore, is all about location. Posting up in an area, preemptively setting yourself up, and doing your research on where you can set up and where your team is, right? Like, I can just farm this broadside Baltimore now. This Zal's me pushing, I can start farming him, and I don't have to worry about getting Citadel, because what's going to hit me? All the other guys are on the top side. They can start working in, and we're just going to slowly put in Noose. And it's not like their destroyer can get anywhere near me or anywhere near BCAP. Because if our destroyer seems like our destroyer Z seems like he's going to get a little close to something, we can just start working down that DD with my radar. So using what your ship has and using protection to be very, very, very effective. So again, location on this line. This line is going to play very, very similar from the low tiers. It starts playing about tier 6 now. The Pentacle is going to be at tier 6 all the way up to the top. You're going to play this line almost identical. And again, right here, what we're going to do is get a little bit more aggressive spot, because that Zal's pushing around that side. So as you see, as soon as he is not having a fire angle on my broadside, and we kill this New Orleans, I'm going to focus north, because then we can really start working that down, and I don't really have to worry about that. Now the Zal will have a shot eventually, but I'm hoping I can get in there, kill this New Orleans, and then really start putting a little bit more pressure on these guys, especially like anything that's showing a broadside to a Des Moines battleship, cruiser, destroyer, whatever it is going to get absolutely punished. So again, our battleship's pushing up north. Shot is in right there. I think he gets this New Orleans. Yeah, he gets New Orleans right there. So I'm going to get pretty aggressive now. It's a late game. There's no reason not to. And I think I go full speed forward. Yeah, you can see me speeding up right here. So yeah, we're just going to push full speed forward, go AP, get this last repair off, and start working down, because a broadside of Magi won't last too long against me. And if we can save our Yamato, that's always good too. And he just shot, so you don't really need to worry about anything from him. But again, I can't stress how important it is to, if you can set yourself up in a good spot originally. And for me, when I play the Des Moines, I won't shoot. Like, if something's within my range and I'm not spotted, I most likely won't shoot. Because I don't want them to specifically know where I am. I want them to almost get that surprise, there's a Des Moines I have to deal with aspect to this ship, because you're so punishing, especially if a destroyer doesn't know where you are. You know, if someone's paying attention and can see where your division is, you know, Yamato spotted. That's a really good tip too if you guys are playing against a lot of divisions and you don't know where specific ships are. Most of the time, divisions tend to stay by each other, so if you guys didn't know. So if you would have spotted the Yamato in my division, most likely I'm by the Yamato. Most divisions don't really split up unless it's like all destroyers or something like that. So if I don't shoot, then they don't exactly know where I am. And anytime I can keep a little bit of a mystery on where I am, especially as a Des Moines, and this heavy radar, you know, this nasty cruiser, very effective cruiser, it's a really good idea. So most of the time I really won't even fire until something's really in my effective range of like 12-13 kilometers. And sometimes I'll even hold it in that, waiting for a destroyer to kind of come into the trap, and then you can really just kind of punish them up. So, and this is the best part too, if you can find a nice little island like this, it's just a blast. But again, I'll put a link down below to the US Cruiser Split. You guys can check it out there and get ready for that. There's no set date, I don't believe, for the actual split. But again, there's some moving around, and I just kind of want to do this whole video of getting people ready for this line. This line is going to be very similar. It's going to be kind of like, if you've ever played the IGN cruiser line, it's very similar because going from the Furitaka almost all the way up to the Zao, that plays very similar, and that's what's going to happen with the USN line. Is a lot of those ships are going to be very, very similar and play very similar to what you've played in the past. You know, the New Orleans, the Cleveland, and even though I've tested the new Cleveland or played the new Cleveland, it seems like I've played it before and it's still the same ship, just like the Baltimore moving to Tier 8. It just seems like a Tier 8 Baltimore. So, but really preparing for this line and playing it correctly. You know, I think a lot of people, Pensacola, stuff like that, are ships that people look at very poorly and think of these are really bad ships. New Orleans, you know, and I think it's mainly just a lot of people playing them incorrectly because they really aren't that open water ship that I talked about, the open water class. So anyways, the Zao is going to shake this little booty. I don't know if our battleship ends up getting him. We end up getting 136 is coming here. I don't know if they end up getting the last salvo or not. Does he get right here? He gets away, I think. But anyways, 136k in the DM as it ticks over right here. We'll take that win. But again, guys, all about that location. This whole line is going to be like that. Use an effective area, use cover, use your radar, and you're going to have a great time playing this line. I enjoy this line, but if you need to really use the strengths of this line. And again, the Des Moines is such a good ship. If you guys haven't really pushed towards it, it's amazing. And again, this is kind of just more of a conversation of kind of the USN playstyle, as well as the little bit of the split, as well as, you know, the Des Moines play and all this. It's kind of all a bunch of stuff wrapped up in this video one. But anyways, that's it for me, guys. Breaking it down for the Des Moines play, the USN Cruiser Split, and the USN playstyle in general. Location. It's all about that, guys. Anyways, hope this video helps, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of this series. Breaking it down where I kind of go in a little bit more in depth of what I'm thinking and why I'm doing it. And it seems like you guys have kind of liked this kind of video in the past, and I'll try to keep doing them. So anyways, guys, that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.